Alright, we are on day number 2, Juggernaut Mode. It's in action. Another great day, helping Dad. My father outside, burning stuff and cleaning out old places that are just overgrown with weeds. So, after some proverbial wisdom downloads, it is time to go and get after it with this lift, which has been long awaited. So, without further ado, let's get after it. Oh, hello. That probably sounded like shit. Okay. Oh well. Cuttity cut. I'm not refilming that. Bye. Dude, your brain feels so good when you just take time off. Like 100% time off stimulation. I used to need like THC to like feel music, but like right now I can actually like feel it again. Like it feels like real. And usually music just feels like overstimulating recently because I've just been so tired. But right now it's like, it's so fresh. All I've done for the past 2 days is the daily dose, runs, cold showers, calisthenics, stretching, and hanging out with my dad. Which means just conquering the woods and like destroying all of this crazy stuff in the woods. So I've been ripping out bramble bushes today, which has not been fun. I got cut up like everywhere, but dude, it was so rewarding. It felt so good. Like today, yesterday it was hard because I was like, man, I'm putting away my phone. Like I kind of had this like attachment to it, but today when I put my phone away, I was so excited to just like put it in my backpack, put my backpack in my room, and just forget about it for the day and just do something real and like see the progress and see the impact of that, which was us like replanting trees and digging out like old weeds that have been ripping up these bushes and kind of choking out all this stuff, which is just really cool, you know, like it's cool to see that progress just like in a day, to see the kind of process of like planting and nurturing things. So we're hitting a foundational workout today. We still got to work in those 20 pull-ups, 20 dips, and the 1 mile run, which is the daily dose or the morning dose, whatever. I have not been getting it in the morning because I've been waking up super late. And at that point, my dad's already starting yard work, and I can smell the smoke in my room. So I have to like get up and just go out there and get to work because I don't really want to miss out on that. Yeah, man, I've always had like a lot of issues with my dad. So like the only reason I'm sharing all of that is because like it just feels good to like restore things and pull the crap out of my life. It's definitely not finished, but it feels really good to get the work in. So let's go hit this lift. We're going to be hitting the squats, RDLs, bench, pull-ups, calisthenics, and then a bunch of accessory movements. But we got to start with the run and mobility. It's going to be like a 2-hour workout, and it's about 5 o'clock right now, so I'm going to be wrapped up by 7. Let's get it.
That's stacking on top of the workout. Good day.
That was tough. Mile, the manual labor today, the extra pull-ups and dips. I did 20 the first time, but I didn't record it. And so I knew that was going to be pretty lame. So I did another because I wanted to, gotta have proof. Same with the pull-ups. I started out the workout with 20. I mean, it's not like that bad. It's actually really good. And I love the process right now. I've never felt better. My mind's empty, but I know it's day 2, so I'm gonna find something to share with you here. If you're doubting yourself right now, or you just backslid into old habits already, that was me. I want you to remember, this is what I wrote to myself. You have everything you need for the season you're in. Or more specifically, God has given you everything you need for the season you're in. You can't mess it up. I mean, you can mess it up. But you can't run out. There are infinite plays, infinite reps, infinite at-bats, and you only need one home run. Like, not everything is going to be a massive unlock, but the raw materials are here, and now is the time to make something. You already have all the materials you need. You already have the equipment. You don't need anything more. If all you have is your room and a chair, you can make that work. You can get it done. If all you have is nothing, you can get it done. You can find a park. You can find a tree. Like, there's all the resources and all the materials are already here. And I really had to go through that with COVID. I didn't really have any equipment when I was training during COVID. I just, I would go run, find places to train, parks, outdoor gyms. I know not everyone has like outdoor pull-up bars just laying around, but at the worst, I would run to the waterfront a mile away, and there was a playground there, and it was freezing cold, and the bar was always frozen over with algae, and that's where I would do my pull-ups, and my hands would get super dirty and calloused, and like the knuckles would kind of shred and rip and bleed, but that was required in order to get the reps in, and so that's what I would do. All right, let's see what else we have in here. So a little note on consistency. Consistency transfers because of conditioning. So the more consistent you are in this challenge, hitting your runs, doing your cold exposure, doing your mobility, expanding your mind, hitting your nutrition, hitting your 20-20 pull-ups, dips, push-ups, whatever you have, right? But the more consistency you have, like, it transfers because of your identity, specifically identity conditioning. So when you have that repetitious nature of showing up every day and just doing something hard, your identity is conditioned as someone who does hard things, because your brain knows you not by your intentions of what you want to be, but by your actions and your behaviors and what you do every day. And that's what your brain knows. And when you give your brain those building blocks and that information, those little inputs, the outcome of that is a different identity. And that consistency, that identity of someone who is consistent, transfers. It's easier to stay pure when you've already been pure. Like, more purity creates more love of God, creates more fruit of the Spirit, creates fulfillment of desire, fulfillment of your true nature. And so that trade-off, it just keeps moving forward, even if it's something as simple as like doing a no-fap. But I don't think doing a no-fap is like enough. Like, if you just say like, oh, I'm just going on no-fap, and now I'm just gonna like clench my fists and like be awkward around women and like freak out all the time and like, oh my God, like I'm holding my, like, dude, you can't operate like that. You have to transfer the energy. You have to redirect the energy into something higher leverage, higher vibration, or higher energy, whatever you want to call it. A higher calling, that's what it is. Like, you're taking it from this impulsive, not really so helpful or good for you desire and habit, and you're channeling that into a higher value along like your life. So things like contribution and connection and challenge and growth, those things, like, they shape you, they shape yourself. But like these low things, they kind of disintegrate yourself. They shape you, but not in the way that you want to shape your identity. And it sucks because it's like, I wish you could just like, everything just has consequence. Everything has a domino effect. And so if you just like, I don't know, like aren't like mentally affected by like porn and masturbating, and you just see like zero positive, like negative effects, which no one does, but hypothetically speaking, like,
I'm not even gonna go there, because to be honest with you, it just like Jesus tells us in the Bible, like, to not have lustful eyes, because it just leads to more pain. And it's just true. Like, and at the extreme, it's like getting with your friend's girlfriend or whatever, or wife, and the amount of like damage and destruction and absolute like chaos that would come from that is just incalculable. But it applies on the small scale of being able to control your impulses. But more than control your impulses, integrate who you are into the real vision that you want. So we have all these like small patches of our lifestyle and our everyday living that are not integrated with the actual things that we want. And so we're trying to collect that energy and not completely stifle that, but put that into higher drives, into real relationships, into talking to girls actually, or asking somebody out, or PTing a lot, which is really Juggernaut Mode. We're just PTing a lot. Like, if you want to just like simplify it, what is it? Train hard, train consistently, train more, train better, and recover really well. The end. Like, it's supposed to just push you, and that's what we're doing. So, again, here's a crystallized statement that I had about consistency this past Monday. Consistency has the payoff of compounding momentum. Discipline gets easier the more you do it. If by that you mean because your brain is harder, your brain is rewired to do that. Like, that's awesome that you can do that. And you probably already know that because you've read it online so many times. But I've been experiencing that, the compounding momentum is the payoff. And you don't experience it before the rep, you experience it after. So when you're going into day 2 and day 3, whenever you're watching this, or if you're watching this on day 6, like, doesn't matter. Consistency gives you compounding momentum. So act from the future. Because, like, for example, if you had $10,000 already saved up, how much easier would it be to save the next $2,000 or the next $20,000? A lot easier, because you already see the progress. Now, this isn't saying like, oh, if you just had $10,000 handed to you. It's no, you had already done the work to save $10,000. If you had already done the work to do that, you would have been a completely different person by that point, because you would have exercised discipline in all these small microcosms of your life, all these small little areas, and by expressing those micro disciplines, those things stack up and they change who you are. But by the time that you get to that milestone, the momentum is so strong, it's like you don't want to just go blow it on like some random flashy thing. Probably, I don't know. But at least for me, even just having like saved the past, like, I've saved like 4K in the last like month or two, and it's like once you have that momentum in your favor, it's so much easier to do the next part and do the next part and do the next part. And you get addicted to it because you see the process. It happened with me, like, doing the yard, bro. I was just, we're pulling weeds out of these bushes and just going crazy. I know I've mentioned this like 12 different times now, but it's been really profound for me, so I'm going to say it again. Seeing the tangible results and the progress continually get better and better is what rewires the brain to make it come back and want to do it again, and come back and do it again. Because like, I woke up this morning and I actually wanted to get out of bed and go work on the land, and I just hadn't ever really had that desire before, and that's because I'd never really done it. But after doing it for like 5 hours on January 1st, then on January 2nd, it was like I woke up and I like smelled the smoke and the bonfire and all this stuff outside, and I just had this itch. I saw like my work clothes and I just wanted to go and do that. I didn't even want to like stretch. I didn't want to do my morning dose. I just wanted to like go off track completely and just do that. And I think that's what we want to get to with any kind of goal or endeavor that you like have, is to give it so much like volume and focus that you stack up all of this momentum and you stack up all this time and experience. You get all of the suck out of the way on the first few days because you're focused and you're all in, and you're not like dipping your toe in. You're just saying, I'm gonna jump in the cold water, I'm gonna do the thing. Don't do anything unsafe, obviously, but you get the idea. The more exposure you give yourself to the discomfort, to the goal, to the next thing that you're trying to achieve, the more that your brain registers that thing and sees the progress and actually gathers that experience, gathers that confidence, and creates that momentum that then just dominoes. And I'm not saying it's like you push one and all the rest just naturally fall. You still have to push them. It's that you have momentum behind you from all the previous times you showed up consistently. So the longer that you have that chain connected, it's just bam, 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 bam. And eventually it's just, my dad has like a 1,000 day streak on Duolingo. 1,000 days. That's insane. Why? Because he got addicted to the process. At some point, he could see progress in his skill, and he could visualize his progress, which is really important in the neuroscience of goal achievement. And he could see tangible results, and he could see his consistency, and it just became easier and easier over time. And you know that, like the 1% rule and all this other stuff, but dude, it's so much easier once you've already been consistent. So be consistent. It's only day 2, but I'm telling you, you're paying your future self momentum by showing up today. You're paying your future self the inertia of positive momentum, the automatic tilt towards progress. So even though like right now, like I'm not super like, I'm not all that like accomplished. I don't feel like, I mean, I've done a lot of things, I've done a lot of projects, and I feel good about my life, but sometimes your life isn't going to be perfectly clear, and not everything is going to be ultra lined up, but you can do this momentum and you can just tilt the thing in the right direction. And you know what, by the time the right opportunity comes in, instead of you being like this, you're going to be hot. You're already going to be rolling in the right direction. Oh, here's another thing. This is going to be really hard. So I want you to have some alternatives, because you're not scrolling. You're not consuming social media. You should be off your phone most of the day. That's part of this process, is to really strip away from the noise and the world and obsessively focus on the few things that matter. So instead of scrolling, you can sit quietly and relax like me. You can journal and write notes and write your thoughts and actually hear yourself think for the first time in maybe weeks, months, days, hours, years. I don't know how long it's been for you. You could read. You just read a random book. You can pick up a random book. I don't care what book it is. You could just pick it up and read it, because it's going to stimulate your mind. It's just going to be a different kind of stimulus. We're retraining your brain to crave a different kind of stimulus. That's why I crave to go outside and work on the yard for 5 hours, because once I had a little bit of time and exposure to that, I actually understood that this is something that gives me recovery, and it doesn't overstimulate my brain, so I can actually consistently just go back to it, and it just fills my cup up with joy. And you don't have to do weeds. I'm not saying that's what you need to do, but you could listen to a podcast or journal, or just make a video and just record your progress, or write your notes for day 1, or just learn a skill that you've been meaning to get to, and you bought the subscription and you bought the course, but you just haven't dived in. Go dive in. Go back and get deep into the skill. Remember what it was first like when you first started something and you were just so energized and ambitious and excited to just do the work and learn. Tap back into that learning thing, because that learning inside of your brain is so good for you. Acetylcholine, man, it actually helps you recover, but it's also that It's some kind of neurochemical that helps you learn skills. Okay? But at some point, you have to block out the world. That's my point. You have to block out the world. You have to learn how to just sit and think and integrate yourself with what you really want, not stimulate yourself and allow your impulses to rule you. Because if you let your impulses rule you, you're never going to be successful and you're never going to be happy. You're not going to be able to thrive because you are a victim to the whims of your impulses, which are not always in service of your highest mission. You got to consider that. Okay. I'm going to hop off my pedestal here. Hopefully this didn't sound like I was preaching. That was not the goal here. But there is just constant noise, and we've become so disoriented from this constant reactive state. So now we're pulling back and we're re-engaging in our lives. That's the point of this challenge. So I hope this served you. I know this is literally a bunch of random notes, but it needs to be said. It really needs to be said. Like this is how you're going to change your life. And so if you haven't, just as a reminder of what the daily kind of block is that we're going for, it's the morning dose, it's getting your cold shower, it's getting your nutrition, it's doing your mental conditioning every day, which might be mindset prompts, might be meditation, doing your learning, it could be journaling as well, doing some kind of skill development, and a priority review. And if this is like an overload, okay, screw me, whatever. Just do the training, just do the nutrition, and follow that, okay? I know I'm probably overcomplicating it, so I'm actually just gonna shut up and let you get back to work. But thank you for showing up. Keep getting after it. Righteous grind. I'll see you in day 3. Peace. I'm sore. Ooh.